Yeah, Shohei Ohtani. I mean, it's hard to even know where to begin with a guy like him. First off, I mean, you look from an offensive perspective. He's, top 2, 3, offensive threats in all of baseball, if not the most offensive threat. Teams fear him. He has the ability to hit any pitch really over the fence. The fact that he's one of the fastest players on the field as well is remarkable. So that's one aspect. There's a hitter of Shohei, top 3 hitter in all of baseball. And then you go, wait a second, he can also pitch. He's a number 1 starter on, the best team in baseball. And he's a top, 3, 5 pitcher in baseball. We've never seen it before. Maybe Babe Ruth, but hard to say. I don't think we'll ever see it again, to be honest with you. It takes so much time and effort to be good at one thing. And for him to be good at 2 things at the highest level is just unimaginable. And also, I mean, to throw on the top that he's the most famous star in Japan, right? And we know how fanatical the fans are, especially in Japan. He doesn't have any downtime. I mean, he's
always has to be on.
Always has to be on. And he's got so much to do. Now that I'm around a little bit, you just see how much he does on a daily basis. Sometimes he's in the cage and then he's going to do his pitching work. Like there's a lot of moving parts in his world, and he's able to figure them all out and have immense success. So I don't see another player being like him ever.
From a business standpoint, the impact of these Japanese players, and the influx of it. What are your thoughts, just as a baseball mind?
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's some pretty talented players coming out of Japan, and that's obviously we were actually just in Tokyo a few weeks ago on a family trip. Which is you spend any time over there?
I've never been there.
It's great. You got to do it? Yeah, it's great. Super clean, so fun, just very interesting, and I would definitely recommend it. But it's a big country, big baseball culture. It's been going on for a long time. They obviously have their professional teams, but it's a huge audience, right? It's a massive audience. That follows Shohei Ohtani and the other guys, but Shohei's like up here, and he's on. When you go there, you see he's on every billboard, he's on every bus, he's on it. His marketing team's doing a pretty good job. He's everywhere over there. He's the biggest star by far over there. I would say he's like Michael Jordan and Michael Jackson at their highest. He's wrapped up into one dude, which is pretty remarkable.
Impressive.
So. With that said, it's creating a lot more opportunities, and obviously him wearing a Dodger uniform is helpful for the Dodgers. Our time when we were in Europe, in London, I mean, the whole goal there was to just kind of slowly expand the sport in other areas. Obviously, Japan, already a huge baseball culture. Latin America, huge baseball culture. But once you kind of go that side of the Atlantic, not so much. So just trying to get another footprint over there. NFL has been doing it for a long time, and they've had some success. The NBA, as you know, are really starting to spend some money over there. And Major League Baseball wants to do the same.
You said your greatest accomplishment was the World Series ring. Outside of that, when you look back on your journey and your run in the professionals, what you did, what you accomplished, what you've been through, what's one thing that stands out? I
mean, I was on so many great teams and very fortunate to be on the teams that I was on in those particular years. On a personal level, I've had success, made some all-star teams. Personal level, I think I'm most proud of the way that I went about it. I honestly, I could look in the mirror every night, and I can still look in the mirror right now and say I left it all on the field. There was no ounce of energy, mental awareness that I did not exude on a daily basis. So I'm proud of that.
Quick hitters, first team to come to mind, let us know. Favorite ballpark?
Taking away Citizen Bank Park in Philly and Dodger Stadium, playing in Chicago, playing in Wrigley Field is fun.
Classic. Worst ballpark?
Oof, they're all pretty good these days. Worst ballpark, for my time, would have been probably playing in Miami before the new stadium. What was it? It was Joe Robbie
the
Stadium.
football
Does that
stadium.
sound about right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in Miami, it's 150 degrees, humid,
Smoking
a lot
down
of
there.
day games,
Yeah.
smoking, no fans.
Yeah.
That was rough.
Smartest pitcher you ever faced?
Ooh, smartest pitcher, Kershaw was pretty smart.
Nastiest single pitch you saw?
I didn't enjoy facing a knuckleball pitcher. I don't know if that was the nastiest. I would say a good knuckleball is hard to hit.
Funniest teammate?
I'd say Jason Worth.
Okay. I like that. Tightest clubhouse you were ever a part of? What year?
Those years in Philly, from 2006 to 2009.
Mm-hmm.
We had a tight group.
Bench clearing brawl. Who you bringing with? You get 3 people you either played with or against.
Oof. All right, bench clearing brawl. I'm going with some of my Philly guys. I'm going with Worth again. I'm going with Victorino because he's scrappy and little and can hide and get you. Jimmy's too pretty. No. Howie would be a good one to have. And there's so many guys. There's some nut jobs I played with too. That would be good for a bench clearing brawl.
Clubhouse playlist. Who was on it?
Jimmy took over for a while, and then at a certain point, it was at the discretion of the starting pitcher.
Oh,
so
really?
Whatever he wanted to listen to
with.
that day, we were all good with.
Love it. One guest you'd like to see on All the Smoke Baseball?
I think you should have Kershaw on here.
Ooh, that'd be dope.
Kershaw would be a good one.
Make that call for us. No, appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, just to be part of the conversation is humbling and amazing. You don't, as a young kid growing up, your goal is to at least my goals was I want to try to figure out a way to play in college, and then maybe hopefully try to get to the big leagues. And then you get to the big leagues and you go, shoot, maybe I would love to make an all-star team. And never once was I ever thought about the Hall of Fame. Now, obviously, I have no choice but to think about it. And you just look back at the history of the players that are in the coolest, most amazing club in all of baseball. So yeah, obviously, it would be a huge honor. I felt like I went about the way I went about baseball was the right way. I got the most out of my ability. I don't think I was necessarily the most talented player on the field, but I think I was the most prepared than anyone else.
Before we get out of here, 2017 controversial World Series versus the Astros. You guys losing 7. Soon after that, it comes out, the whole sign situation. We asked CeCe this similar question because they got beat as well. Has your feeling changed from when that happened in 17 to now?
A little bit. I mean, the way I look at it, obviously they have the World Series trophy, but I look at us as being the best team in baseball that year, regardless of that outcome of that World Series. We battled them extremely tight. We lost in 7 games. There was a lot of back and forth. A great World Series to watch as a fan. A lot of offense, as you can imagine. It stings a little bit. I've put it behind me with the thought process. It makes me feel better that we were the best team at that year.
I have to agree. You got any questions? This is the biggest Dodger fan in the world, right? You want to ask Chase anything?
What do you got?
My question is just centered around Shohei. Really, I'm sure you've seen a lot of great baseball players growing up in your professional career. What are you seeing? What is he the best baseball player you've ever seen in your life?
I'm sure there's a conversation that was had. What were those conversations? How tough was it? Although you're going home,
right,
back to the original team that drafted you, your heart was obviously in Philly.
Yeah, 100%. You hit the nail on the head. I never wanted to leave Philadelphia. We had such amazing teams, a great experience. Fan base is incredible. But it was that point in time where those guys that we were just talking about slowly moving on, right? We were all getting a little bit older. So, we lose Shane, Jimmy's traded, Worth signs as a free agent somewhere else. So now that nucleus is starting to get dismantled a bit. And the organization needed some of these young guys to play. And I distinctly remember Ruben saying, "Hey, where do you want to play?" And I said, I don't want to go anywhere. And then there was one conversation. They called me into his office with John Middleton, one of the owners, and said, "Listen, we need to see what we have in some of these young players. One of them, there's a second baseman. We just need to see. We need to figure out what we have in these guys. And we know you as a player. We think you still want to continue to win, and we don't know if we can win at this moment, but we need to figure it out. So where would you like to go play? And still at that point, I'm like, guys, I don't want to leave, but I understand their perspective. Do I want to grow old? And as I'm starting my decline as a player on a team that may or may not make the playoffs, or do I want to have that experience on a team that really has a great chance of making the playoffs? So I sat down with my wife and we talked about it, and said, okay, the Dodgers, I'm going through all the teams that I think have a real chance, and not what the writers are saying. I'm going with my own eyes, doing my own homework on who really has a chance to get to the playoffs and actually win a World Series. And the Dodgers were right at the top of the list at that time. They really started putting some pieces together. So there was a few teams that called. At that point I had a no trade clause, so I needed to authorize a trade. There's a few teams that called that were interested. I just didn't really have interest in going there. One, at that point I had a young family. One, it was not necessarily a city that I wanted to be in from a logistics standpoint, or two, I'm not sure they had the ability to win from my perspective. And the Dodgers finally called. Howie Kendrick was a great second baseman, tweaked his hamstring, so he was going to be out for a long period of time, and they needed someone to man second base. So then now it's time to it's
getting real.
It's getting real quickly. So it took me 24 hours to really come to terms that I'm going to leave Philadelphia. But to your point, didn't want to leave, but to then go to a team that I grew up watching, that I grew up admiring, was an easy choice at that point.
The kid in you, I want to talk to Lil Chase. Played baseball in Long Beach, went to UCLA, and now you're back on your fate. You're there, you're drafted there, don't end up going there. Now you're coming home and playing for your hometown, your favorite team. What's the kid in you feeling? Once, obviously, a lot of love for Philly, not trying to discredit that, but going home, most likely you're going to finish here, and it's the Dodgers. It was,
looking back at it, and I didn't really have this perspective going into it, but now looking back at it after the first probably year, as I mentioned, I'm starting to go on that downward trajectory as an athlete. I recognized it. I wasn't going to let it slow me down, but I definitely recognize it. So I wanted to figure out a way to how can I be impactful on a daily basis, even though I'm not necessarily as good of a player as I was 5 or 6 years prior. And I took a lot of pride in that, because the Dodgers had some veteran guys, but also some young guys with a lot of talent. So I took a lot of pride in trying to dig in with some of these younger guys and help them maneuver, whether that was on the field or off the field. And to Andrew's credit, he said, listen, we brought you over here for a reason. Obviously, we still feel like you're a good player, but also I think your leadership skills can be invaluable to us and some of our younger guys. So do whatever you think is necessary, which gave me kind of free rein on chatting with these guys and trying to help point them in the right direction. And I feel like I did an okay job at it.
You pull up to Dodger Stadium for the first time as a Dodger. What's it feel like driving to the game? You get to the parking lot. What's that first time? What did that feel like for you?
It was exciting. I met them on the road. Okay. So that anxious energy had already kind of subsided at the time. But yeah, I went to so many Dodger games as a kid. We obviously played against the Dodgers quite a bit, but then instead of going to the road clubhouse, you're going to the home clubhouse and walking in there for the first time. Surreal. I'm seeing guys that you admire, Clayton Kershaw, for this is number one in my books. It was a surreal feeling, but you got to eliminate that quickly, because you're there to figure out a win.
Forgive me, I'm sure you've been asked about this a ton of times, but again, knowing your style and seeing you play for a long time, you're an old school player. You took some heat for the slide in.